Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. Those of you coming back to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whose Hebrew name is Yahweh, Bahasham, in the name of Yahweh Shai. All right, through whom we have received the Rachakwadash, the Holy Spirit, in these latter days to return to our true biblical nationality, calling on the names, repenting, and separating from the garbage and filth, all right, in this decadent society that we've been bred in, all right? And as you can see, decadence is at an all-time high. Let's look up the word decadence, all right, which this also preceded the fall of the ancient Roman Empire. Decadence, lewdness, immoral behavior, as we can see, is being pushed, all right, heavily as the spirit of Satan is being set up in the form of the New World Order. Okay, that's basically Satan's kingdom being set up on the planet Earth, all right, to where you'll have all immoral acts, all right, things that were once taboo, normalized, all right, and it's going to be finished off by that charagma, but we're not going to get into that in this lesson. Decadence, okay, it says a process, condition, or period of deterioration or decline, and people look at, you know, these so-called freedoms that they've had here in Babylon the Great as an upgrade, but really it's leading to what? Deterioration and decline, as you have women and men, okay, because there's a lot of men as well who are screaming and arguing and fighting and kicking and losing their damn mind over this whole Roe v. Wade situation. Now, if you don't know what the whole Roe versus Wade situation is, it goes back to the 70s in Texas, where there was a point, you know, if you go back to old America, there was a point where they used to so-called have Christian values. Well, leading up to the 70s, abortions were illegal. The only way you can have an abortion is if the pregnancy was going to harm the woman's life, you know. But you had a woman, I believe she was an Edomite woman, pretty much make a fuss on how she should have the right to abort her child. And it ended up going, you know, to a government decision, which pretty much gave them rights under this whole Roe versus Wade thing. Now, you can look it up on your own if you want more, but that's the gist of it. You know, a woman stood up for herself to have the right to abort her child. And although it was met with, you know, much opposition, eventually it became the norm, okay, to where abortions couldn't be restricted. And when you look at the whole abortion ordeal, it's a business, all right, that is actually linked to idol worship. Everything that you see happening around you is linked to idol worship, as America, Babylon the Great, is known as the mother of all harlots, okay, because you're thinking it's just a abortion clinic. You have these Planned Parenthood, you know, that whole system of Planned Parenthood. And where are those Planned Parenthood buildings set up? All right, 90% plus are put in neighborhoods where so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans live in the most. All right, when I was growing up, they had one in the mall. All right, so you can go, you know, get you a hoodie, some shoes, and then you can go abort the baby. And it's interesting that it's called Planned Parenthood, and the plan is to not be a parent so that you can do whatever the hell you want to do. All right, but pretty much our people, as we've been scattered amongst the heathen, all right, you know, we because the scriptures are clear, you know, on this whole situation. Now, we know this is the distraction dealing with this whole ordeal and how it's now, you know, in the news, because a lot is coming out on this devil, And what they do is when they get exposed or when they are getting ready to pass some sort of unrighteous decree or forward some sort of wicked agenda, which we know what they're doing, they put distractions out to have people fight and argue over. All right. As you've seen this picture. Okay. You've seen this picture. You had one side, all right, the Dems, which our people are so, gung ho about the Democrats. Both Democrat and Republic are wicked. All right. But historically, it's been the policies of the Democrats that have had a foot in your ass. All right. But you have the Democrats, abortion is good. You have the Republicans, abortion is bad. But meanwhile, as you see this picture, meanwhile, this is funny. Meanwhile, you have the coming food shortages, which they're becoming more bold about. You have the disinformation broad, which is going to take away your free speech. Okay. You have inflation. Okay. Where your dollar has no power. It's taking more dollars to get less goods. And that's only going to increase. You have microplastic found in people's lungs and blood. All right. For the first time ever in history. All right, they're finding out that as they study people's system, there's microplastics being found in people's system. But you don't see an uproar about that. $47 billion sent to Ukraine by the Biden administration while you people in America sit here struggling, starving, okay, and through, okay, with your Mountain Dew, okay. But yeah, we know this is a distraction, but it's a distraction that must be discussed as well because people are losing their damn mind, men and women, okay, over their right to just live carelessly and as often as they will abort a fetus. And as a former fetus, I'm glad, my parent didn't abort me. All right. So that I can, have the opportunity to, grow up and fulfill prophecy. All right. Teaching Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's word. All right. Now, when you go to the scriptures, it's clear on this topic, because, as we've gotten amongst these heathen, we've got comfortable with some very wicked ways. And when you read the law, statutes, and commandments, you have to understand that they were given to us in this form, written on stone, all right, for the purpose of us not following after the ways of the Egyptians, the Canaanites, the Moabites, the Amalekites. All of these heathen in their ways and the way that they worship their gods is detrimental to us as a people. And that's the importance of order. And see, this is what we're here to teach our people, all right, to separate from the ways of this world because we thought that these ways were normal and, got accustomed with some very wicked practices, but they're detrimental to us as a people and they separate us from our power. Now, when you go to Exodus, the 23rd chapter, it speaks on this because I remember I was at work one day and I heard a Negro woman, so-called Negro woman, throw this statement out that the Bible don't speak on stuff like abortion. The Bible don't speak on this. The Bible don't speak on that. Everybody. And and it's just because ultimately the preachers ain't teaching the truth in its proper perspective. Okay. As a matter of fact, we were warned. Let's get Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter before we get that. We were warned not to worship our power the way that these heathen worship their power. So under Jesus Christ, things like that forwarded. All right. This is why we were to destroy their gods, their altars. Now, we don't physically destroy them in this time by going to churches and throwing them down, but you destroy them by what? The fire of the word. All right. This is Deuteronomy 12:3. And ye shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire. And ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods and destroy the names of them out of that place. So Jesus Christ should be destroyed because under him, okay, this demon that goes by the name of Margaret Sanger. We're not going to pull it up. This whole eugenics ordeal goes back to her. And she used black pastors, okay, to make abortions normalized amongst our people. So it was the black church that was used, starting with Margaret Sanger, as a catalyst. All right, because what did she say? Margaret Sanger, she hated you niggas too. She said the way to get into the minds of the Negro race, all right, which spreads on down to all of the tribes, is through spiritual means. So she used the black pastors to start to push the message that something that was once taboo amongst our people, abortion, all right, be legalized so that they can work their magic and their practices. And now our people lead the league, okay, in that practice. All right. This is Deuteronomy 12:29. When the Lord thy God, and that practice goes back to a practice that actually goes back to a particular God. All right. The elder brother Rahuaya Kwam went into that. I'll pull it up in a minute. His video. It says, when the Lord thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, whether thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their land. Now, who was dwelling in the promised land at that time? The Canaanites, okay, and other ites, the Amalekites, all of these ites, all of these heathen nations were dwelling in our land, and they were doing what? Wickedness. Okay, as a matter of fact, in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, in the 12th chapter, it describes the behavior of the nations that were living in the Holy Land as we went, to conquer it, under, Joshua, Caleb, and so forth. All right, you had the Canaanites, the Amalekites, Moabites, all of these various different nations, all right, were doing their wickedness. All right, and the same thing is happening now as we're on our way to the promised land in these times. All right, it says, verse 3, for it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land. All right, whom thou hatest for doing the most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices. And that's all that you're partaking in, when you partake in this whole subject that we're dealing with. All right, you're partaking in their sacrifice. All right, it says, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of men's blood and the feast of blood. Now, back then, they would, a child could be 3, 4, and they'd offer it up as a sacrifice to a particular god, and that god was Molech. All right, which, let me see if I can bring that up here. See if I have it here. All right, this is one of the ancient deities that was worshipped, and as we tell you, America, Babylon the Great, is the mother of all harlots. So all of those ancient deities and gods are being worshipped here somehow, some way, and it's right in your face, but it's hidden. It's witchcraft. Okay, and before we woke up, we thought these practices were normal. This is the beauty of repentance and having, a chance, because ultimately the stuff we did and partook in, we don't deserve a way back to the Father, but through Yahweh Shai, we have a way back. Now it says the true history of Molech, the ancient god of child sacrifice. All right, and you can read this. I'm not, gonna go too far into it, but it says child sacrifice is non-existent today, but that's not true. Okay, why you think all of these children go missing? All right, but ultimately these clinics, that's what they're geared towards. Okay, it says condemned by biblical prophets and Roman senators alike, few pagan deities were as reviled as Molech, a god whose bronze body was a furnace used for sacrificing children. All right, and now you have these clinics. Now, when you go and look up how these devils get down, let's see if I can find it. Okay. You have this whole thing called the Bohemian Grove, which you can look it up. And it's just one of many wicked, secret societies and rituals, as this thing said here. Okay. Whom thou hatest, Wisdom of Solomon, the 12th chapter and the 4th verse. Okay. The old inhabitants of the Holy Land. Now, who's inhabiting the Holy Land today? Okay. A bunch of heathen. All right. But for the most part, it's the Edomites, the Amalekites. Okay. And they're responsible for the behavior that's taking place, all right, all over the world, okay, especially here in Babylon the Great, okay. Remember, they own Hollywood, they own the banks, they own the food industries, okay. So that's the threat we need to focus on. But see, through witchcraft, they're able to take the focus off of themselves, all right, and as they get exposed more and more, they're going to just throw particular things out there to keep your mind off of the fact that they're going down. Now it says, whom thou hatest for doing the most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murders of children and devourers of men's flesh and feasts of blood. And it's coming out. All of these things are happening in this day and age, because that which is then is now. With their priest, see that? Out of the midst of their adulterous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help. Okay, and we see these various people here today. Like I have this pulled up. You know, the even the talk of these women not being able to go freely, just the do this, because some women do it 18 times, 20 times, and what it does is it destroys their inward parts. Okay, it works against them. All right, then they bring up situations like, well, what if she was raped and this and that? When the majority of the abortions that are happening have nothing to do with women that were raped. It was a woman who laid with someone who she didn't know, okay? And when she got pregnant, the thought of her having to be a mother and be responsible, which that's ultimately what the purpose of sex was. For you to be fruitful and multiply. But we live in a world where that's even a burden. Okay? So the thought of a woman losing her freedom or having to be a mother is hell. So under the devil, they have the ability to just go and do this continually. Now, when you read real quick the book of Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter and the 29th verse, it says, when the Lord thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, and the nations that what? Were inhabiting the Holy Land. And as we were in the wilderness on our way to the Holy Land, there were particular nations that were giving us hell, but the Heavenly Father used our forefathers to destroy them. All right, with the help of what? The angel that followed us in the wilderness. It says, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them and dwellest in their land, because it was the land of Canaan at that time, although that land was promised to us. All right, from the foundation of the earth. Right, it's the land Adam ruled out of. Okay, it says, take heed that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. And that's what our people have done. Okay, they're doing likewise to the way the heathen worship their gods. Okay, the heathen are okay with the sacrificing of children and what we're speaking on. All right, now in particular cultures of heathen, you did have it outlawed and spoken against. All right, but for the most part, this is what they're about. Okay, it says, even so will I do likewise, and that's what our people have done. Men and women, but women, you got it good under this devil, because you have freedom to do as you will. My body, my choice. But then all you do on the internet all day is tell men what they can't do with their bodies. All right. But when it comes to this lust to be able to murder a fetus, all right, that's what you're doing. You're ultimately, you're bloodthirsty. You're growling. You're screaming. We're going to see a few little clips And the majority of the women who be screaming and marching be busted. Like who's putting the seed in you? You need to go sit your ugly ass down somewhere and figure out how to sow or do something else with your time. All right? Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination of the Lord which he hated have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters have they burnt in the fire to their gods. All right. Now, when you go to the clinic, you're not putting your son and daughters in the fire, but it's the same concept. Okay. It's the same concept. And the scriptures are clear on this subject. Because like I was saying, you have Jake thinks the Bible don't deal with this stuff. Well, it does. You have a culture. All right. The word religion. All right. It basically means what you do. Your religion should reflect. All right. What you do should reflect your belief. All right. Exodus 23 and 26. There shall nothing cast their young nor be barren in thy land. Okay. The number of thy days will I fulfill. And everything in this society is an attack on the Israelite male loins and the Israelite woman's reproductive system. Everything, including the undergarments we wear, the drawers, the panties. I believe it's nylon or something. It's an attack. Everything is an attack. The food, it's an attack. They gave your ass malt liquor. What did they say in the movie Black Dynamite? I believe that's the name of it. They found out that Anaconda malt liquor shrunk, the Jake's loins. Okay, now that was it was just laughing, but on a deeper surface, that's what that stuff does. Maybe not shrink, but it messes up the reproductive system, because ultimately, when you look up what's happening, these Edomites are not producing children at a good rate. Okay, their deaths are outnumbering their birth. They're becoming small amongst the heathen. You can just look it up. I'm not going to go into it, but they have a declining birth rate, and they know we as Israelites, we don't stop, even in hell, even with all the destruction and the pollution you've put in the foods, the air, the water. Put atrazine in the water to feminize the men. Okay, we still are multiplying at a rapid rate. So you Edomites, seeing that you're being outnumbered, and there's a cry. There's a small cry, but there's a cry amongst Esau, Edom, about how they're being outnumbered because they're not producing. Okay? And the Heavenly Father's doing that. Now here in Exodus 23 and 26, it says, there shall nothing cast their young. Okay? Let's read this in the NLT. There will be no there will be no miscarriages or infertility in your land, and I will give you long, full life. So that was how the Lord intended it to be. Okay? You're supposed to be fruitful and multiply, and that's the purpose of sex. Sex, okay, although it's a pleasure, there's a responsibility that we haven't been taught in Babylon the Great that is supposed to come with it. Okay? Now, cast, the word cast in the Hebrew is what? Shakal, childless, okay, loss of children, to be bereaved, make childless, barrenness, show barrenness, or abortion, right there. All right, so the scriptures do speak on this. All right, the Lord ain't with that, but here in Babylon the Great, because of our disobedience, now we lead the league. Okay, we lead the league. All right. I just saw a video where Esau was calling a clinic talking about he wanted to put money towards more so-called black children being aborted. Okay, because they hate you. Remember, they have the spirit of Cain. What did Cain do to Abel? He tried to cut off the seed line of the righteous from being spread in the planet Earth. But the Lord blessed us with Seth. See, and this is what they've been doing all along. All right. That's what that whole eugenics garbage was about. Okay. Now it started back at the time of your boy H, the dude with the mustache, Hitler. Call him Hitler. All right. He used those practices, but they were adopted here in Babylon the Great to use against you Israelites. Now, let's see here where we're gonna go. Back here, you can see you have you people arguing back and forth over this situation. But meanwhile, look at what's happening here, man. So this is that wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, man. Okay, and it's god awful, man. The way you people act, what you're screaming and crying over. Oh, this is what I was gonna go to. Check this out. Now look at this ugly ass woman. Who is? What are you mad about? A lot of you women just want to scream and argue just because. Losing their minds over the thought of not being able to kill babies.
Fuck! This abortion law goes beyond a woman's issue, and it goes beyond anything you can ever imagine. The societal implications of this are going to be insane. The amount of just pain and damage this is going to cause, and the full ability to tell a woman what she can and can't do with her body. And we're going back into a Handmaid's Tale society here.
All of you women.
Now, who's putting rod in these women? What are they worried about? See, a lot of women just want to argue a lot of times about, like, come on, man. You're growling over in the whole society of Babylon the Great is built upon telling a man what he can't and can do with his body. But the minute a woman's so-called freedom is challenged, the whole world is in an uproar. That's the reason you all are celebrating the death of this dude, Kevin Samuels. All right, because what he so-called represented was, correcting you or telling you that the way that you're acting or representing yourself around the world is off. So you have women celebrating his death. Women just want to be able to do and say whatever the hell they want to do and say. Okay, and the scriptures say your body is not your own. So it's your body, but at the end of the day, who gave you that body? See, and this is the importance of pushing the fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai amongst our people. Now, these are heathen, for the most part, what it looks like, but our people are in this mindset too.
Who sat home? All you young girls, adults over 18 years old who did not go out and vote, who did not think that you need to protect your womb. We're now back in the dark ages.
Brace yourselves, ladies. I'm with you. My heart is just broken. I don't understand why this country hates women so much. I just don't understand it. We'll get through this. We'll figure out a way.
And we're joking about it being a Handmaid's Tale. It will be.
Who these ugly now? Really, and a lot of these women, what they're talking about is we don't want to take it back to the dark ages, and basically the ancient world was how it was strict towards women, and this is why the Bible was getting ready to be outlawed, because the Bible puts women in order and in their place. But the elder brother required, let me pull this up real quick, because he goes in on this. But this is just a sign of moral decay and decadence. All right? Yep. Check this video out. if you get a chance. It's a very, very good video. He goes in on how idolatry and occultism is a root of feminism. And he also goes into, I'm pretty sure they restrict it a lot, so I'm going to probably have to download it. But he goes into some very good information. I'm going to download the video before they probably take it down, because I see you can't save it and the comments are turned off, which means they're restricting particular things. But it is what it is. Okay, you devils are being exposed, man. But yeah, this, you know, with all that's going on, this is what, you know, the people are arguing back and forth about. But we speak on these things just for the purpose of edification, man, because this stuff is draining, man. I've been drained all week. Something wicked is going on. All right. And, you know, I tell brothers all the time, my body, I'm sensitive to the evil that's going on. Okay. The stuff that's going on, brothers, we're affected by it more than we know. So right now, while they're putting this out, they're doing all kind of wickedness behind closed doors. We know for a fact that they are. Now, I have this picture here as well, because this happened in Egypt. All right. Where it was an order given to kill the Hebrew babies. Under Herod, there was an order to kill the Hebrew babies. Well, here in America, you have the same thing. Under the policies of these Democrats, all right, there's a lust, all right, and all of these governors and senators, they're funded to push these laws. As you can see here, he who have not a uterus should shut the F up, meaning if you're a man, you have no say-so. Shut up. But whenever it comes to the man, okay, the woman could tell him what he can and can't do all goddamn day. This is a bunch of confusion, and we can see why this place is going to be destroyed. Now in Egypt, all right, you can go to Exodus, the first chapter, all right, and this is around the time Moses was born, and they knew, and they, just like at the time of Yahushua, Herod, they knew, all right, that some sort of a savior or good thing for the Hebrew nation was coming. Okay, so what was the order? Exodus 1:16, and he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and ye see, all right, them upon the stools, because that's how you would have a child. You know, you would kneel down on the stool. Right? You wouldn't be laying down. Laying down on the on a bed is an unnatural way to have a child. But we're in Babylon the Great, okay? But it says, and you can do a natural childbirth, and do it the right way. All right, but if you go to the Esau's hospital, you're going to be laying down. They want to put you at every disadvantage they can. And there's a study that when a so-called black child and the other tribes is born at the hands of a Edomite doctor, all right, a lot of those children die because the Edomite doctor has it in his mind, I got to kill this, you know. So we got to get the hell up out of here. All right. But as Moses, we're miracles that were born. All right. For the purpose of what? Fulfilling prophecy. Okay. Because, you know, pretty much everything they do in the whole birth process is to work against you. All right. From the fact that the mother can't lactate milk in most cases, epidurals, okay, the formula they give you in place of the milk, it's all to what? Dumb you down, to separate you, all right, because breastfeeding is important. It connects you to your culture, all right? But anyway, the order was, and you see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. See, they wanted to cut off the seed at that time in Egypt. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives, because they were Hebrew Israelite women, feared God and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them. Okay? But saved the men, children alive. All right? They disobeyed the order that the Pharaoh gave them. Okay? It says, and the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing and have saved the men, children alive? Why ain't you killing them? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women. Okay, for they are lively, meaning we have children at a rapid rate. Okay, we're about having children and life. Okay, believe it or not, this is once the mindset of the Hebrew Israelite women. And when you look it up in the NLT, it says the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women. The midwives replied, because the Egyptians had some very weird practices for birth control, putting alligator dung in their vaginas. Okay, they did any and everything to pretty much take sex and make it an operation of their own. The same thing that happens here. All right. And like D'Angelo said, we've all felt the high of the devil's pie. All right. We got to get the hell up out of here, man. Sex, although it's a pleasure, there's some serious responsibilities that are supposed to come with that. But in Babylon the Great, you're free from those responsibilities. And you even have the option of what? Often the seed that comes with that act. If you feel like it. Hell, this dude, Jeff Bezos. All right, because if you can't do it in the state you live in, Amazon is going to reimburse you if you have to travel. We'll give you the if you got to drive, we'll give you gas money. If you got to get on the plane, we'll give you airplane money. We buy you a ticket. Here, you can fly first class if you have to travel to get an abortion. Okay? Amazon reportedly told its staff this week that it will reimburse up to $4,000 in travel expenses. You know, people will be lying. I spent this, I spent that, I had to buy this, I had to buy that. And somehow, some way, you traveling from Texas to California to get an abortion equal $4,000, and they're going to give it to you. Right? But anyway, the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women. Okay, the midwives replied, they are more vigorous and have their babies so quickly that we cannot get there in time. All right, so they was using a little, you know, how Jake is. They was using a little yikwab, but that was their reasoning. All right, we're a lively people. Okay, we're not like the Egyptians. Like, we're not like Esau. All right, we don't have a worry of not populating or not having, a declined birth rate as these Edomites. Okay? It says, therefore God dealt with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty, and Moses was able to be born. Okay? So just like that was happening in Egypt, of course, we have the account at the time of Yahweh Shai. The same thing is happening here. Okay? In Egypt, they fed our babies to alligators. Here in America, they fed our babies to alligators. In Egypt, there was a decree to kill the male seed. All right? To off it. Here you have, under the Democrats, okay, which you niggas love so much, and the black woman is always there. Okay? You have a decree to off the child, man. And listening and seeing how people are reacting to this all is vexing. All right? This is the book of Psalms, the 53rd chapter. All right? In the first verse, it says, the fool have said in his heart, there is no God. And that's really what it's all come down to. All right? People look at, ultimately order as a burden. So our people have done away with the Most High, following after the mindset of the ruler, which is Esau, Edom. Corrupt are they. They have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. And that's the decadent society you see before you. Okay? And the people our women look up to, all right, are the ones who egg this on, like this nigga. Check this out.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for her first interview since that leaked draft opinion. She says the consequences of overturning Roe versus Wade would go beyond abortion rights.
This is about controlling women. This is about turning the clock back on
half the population of our country. In the 2016 campaign, Donald Trump made...
Because these devils rule under this lie that the earth is overpopulated. Okay? But our people love the Clintons. The Clintons were like the new niggas, man. All right? And you've continuously fell for the serpent's poison, man. And even men. All right, don't come to my page if you against this, if you transphobic, if you this. Our people are absolutely gone, men and women. Okay? And we're vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. Okay, I wasn't even going to speak on this because it was so damn draining, man. My spirit's been drained. All right, but we got to fight through it, man. It's like, get your big ass up. All right?
Made it clear he would nominate justices who would overturn Roe versus Wade. Did you imagine it would happen this quickly? I warned about it in the campaign. I could see that the man I was running against would literally do anything to get the votes of the extreme faction of the Republican Party who were willing to totally upend.
And this lady's a Satanist. She needs that baby blood. Right? She's like, how the hell you gonna cut off my blood supply? Right? But our people look at this as some sort of voice for them. And all of these smart, dumb, woke, fake niggas, Common, Talib Kweli, and all of these niggas, they're going hardcore against Trump, which to hell with him, but then they don't have nothing to say about this garbage. But they're about the black family, right? How the hell are you going to have a black family if the man turns himself to a damn woman, okay? And if there is a seed, you can just abort it. But you're about the black family, right? This is why the Lord is going to bring fire to this place. We are sick and tired of all you Edomites, you heathen, and 2/3 of our people. All of you got to go. This is why it says this here. Wait, verse 2, it says, God looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and that did seek God. Every one of them is gone back. They all together are become filthy. There is none that doeth good, not one. Okay? Wickedness, man. Everywhere you look is just some decadent, wicked behavior being talked about or argued. The fact that this is even an argument. It says, have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread? They have not called upon God. And our people think that they think that this is somehow good for them. Okay, let's get Revelation 11. Revelation 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead that they should be judged. Who are the dead? Esau, the rest of the heathen, and 2/3 of our people. Judgment is coming for you, man. Now, this word for dead, because y'all all about death. Okay, what about life? Necros, that's where you get necromancing. Necros. One that has breathed his last, lifeless. Okay, that pale horse, man. Pale represents lifelessness, and this is the world we live in. Everything is about death, the food. Eat fake foods. All right? Real foods are becoming the enemy. Farming is becoming the enemy. Spiritually dead, destitute of force, power. That's what they're all about. They get power from this. Okay? And that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, to the saints, and to them that fear thy name. Because amongst all of the people in the planet Earth, only the remnant fear the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and are about life, small and great, and that thou shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth, man. Okay? Satanic Temple requests that Boston fly its flag after Supreme Court ruling. See? All right? Everywhere you look, you're seeing Satan just being pushed. Okay? Satan is just being pushed, and who's at the forefront of it? Esau, Edom. Let's get this real quick. One of my favorites. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth through the prophets. And we're consuming his system, his ways, the image of the beast being consumed. All right, the spirit of his mouth, the prophets, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, the chariots. All right, that white horse, it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. Okay? And that word lying wonders, as we always show you, is pseudoscience. Somehow, some way, they're able to tell you that this is some sort of gain for you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to be at the forefront of all of these marches. Okay? You women are so bugged out. You'll leave the Trayvon rally, the Trayvon Martin rally march. Stop killing our young men. And then you'll go to an abortion rights rally to have the right to kill them before they're even born. Then you had a woman talking about, well, God aborted David's seed for committing adultery. Well, that baby was born, and the Lord made the child ill, and it died. The hell is you people are wicked as hell, man. But the Lord is allowing all of this so you people can say and do things that are going to lead to you being justified in those missiles, man. Because the only way this can be fixed is fire, man. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. All right. You're now seeing Satan being pushed openly. Okay. And where's the Christian voice against all of this? Oh, I guess God, the Bible don't deal with this. Okay. We're living in the mother of all harlots. We keep bringing that out. Let's bring that out. Okay. The mother of all harlots. Revelation 17:5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. This is her philosophy. As the scriptures say, he transgressed by wine. Okay. What is his wine? His philosophy. All right. And his philosophy leads to people doing things. You can't just say that MOTB is a philosophy. Well, what the hell is it going to lead to him telling you to do? Well, this is a part of it. The image, all right, of the beast, the wickedness that they promote and push. But America is known as what? The mother of all harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay, so that god Molech, as we were reading about, and we ain't got to go too deep into it, this ancient god and the vibration of child sacrifice is here today. Why do you think millions of children go missing annually and it's not a pandemic? It's not pushed out as something that needs to be figured out. Children molested, harmed. Okay? Why do you think all of these things are being pushed and happening at the rate that they're happening and it's no big deal? So there was a cult of Molech. Okay? And they're back today. Okay, they're back today, man. That same vibration is back today, man. So this is the man of sin. And as we were reading, okay, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth that they might be saved. Why? Because they believe in these lying wonders, this pseudoscience. And for this cause, God shall send them a strong delusion that they should believe a lie. And what is the lie? The lie is that you can do as you will. You can basically, my body, my choice. I can do what the hell I want to do. I can live in this world without order. And that's our people who believe that. Okay? We were given order. See, when you go to 1 Corinthians 6:19, it says, what? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of the Most High, and ye are not your own, you're not your own. All right. The scriptures say the heart is wicked. You need order. We need order. You see? And it's given to us through the Holy Spirit to understand, to separate from these particular ways, man. The things we thought were life are actually death unto us. And see, that's how Eve was tricked in the garden. Now, Eve, which was a real person, is symbolic, as well as Israel as a whole, the church, who was disobedient to the order she was given. All right? Ye are not your own, man, for ye are bought with the price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. And when order is established, things are cleaner. All right. People are happier. OK, and that's progress. Well, people are looking at this decadent way of life as what? Happiness, prosperity. You're not prospering. You losing with your own goddamn freedom, following after this devil, because it's a snare. What did Eve's freedom in, because that's all it is. That's what Satanism is based upon. And it's founded upon the principle that you can do as you will. Okay, the bounds of righteousness and order are old. We don't need that anymore. That holds us back. We should be free to do whatever the hell we want to do. And what was the end result of Eve's decision? The family, all right, structure, everything being destroyed, man. All right. Because this is Babylon. What does Babylon mean? Confusion. Okay. You have the first Babylon, Babel, under Nimrod, what does Nimrod mean? Okay. Rebellion. Now we're living in a double rebellion under Babylon the Great. This is why it's called the land of Nimrod in prophecy, man. Let's finish this off.
Precedent and deny women their rights. So I did warn about it, but it's hard to warn in the abstract. And I think a lot of people would say, well, that'll never happen. No, but nobody will do that. This opinion is dark. It is incredibly dangerous. And it is not just about a woman's right to choose. It is about much more than that. And I hope people now are fully aware of what we're up against, because the only answer is at the ballot box to elect people who will stand up.
Not having the option to off the seed, all right, is dark in these people's opinion, and these people are dark. All right, but again, our people look at people like Hillary, Bill, Biden as their saviors, as people who really mean well for them. Okay, so this particular God is being worshipped in this world, man. As a matter of fact, if you go to the scriptures and you just type in Molech, you'll see that our people, even Solomon, got into the practices of Molech, causing their sons and daughters to pass through the fire. Okay? Leviticus 20:5. Then will I set my face against that man and against his family, and I will cut him off, all that go a-whoring after him to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people. And many of us, before we woke up, looked at these things and practices as just a normal way of life. But now that we have the eye salve, we know that these things are attached to idols, man, and wickedness. And as this beloved brother did in this video, which you should watch, he linked it. He showed you. So check that out before it's taken down. Lord willing, I can save it, to one of my hard drives. But it's true. Everything that has been shoved down our throats as some form of life and victory and something to boast in, it's all rooted in idolatry and occultism. Okay? And it's getting ready to be all kind of uproars about this. Because they're getting ready to what? Because we know the trials of that, these brain computers and all of the stuff that they're trying to do with that is being, they're doing it openly now. So in order to, confuse you and take your mind off of what they're really doing, they're going to bring stuff like this. And now the Supreme Court is building a gate around All right, canceling events as left-wing groups call for protests at their homes, and law enforcement braces for violence over the Roe v. Wade leak. So get ready to see women and men in the streets losing their mind, going after governors and senators over the fact, all right, that they possibly won't have the freedom to just do this as often as they will. And this is folly, man. Folly. Oh my goodness, man. Folly is set in great dignity, man. This just shows you fire got to come to this place. The very fact that we're having this discussion. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and 5 says, there's an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceeded from the ruler. And who's the ruler? Esau, Edom. In particular, Amalek. Okay? Meanwhile, Vocab Malone and everybody's trying to stop the Hebrew Israelites. No, the Edomites got to be stopped. And they will be. All right? Because of there's an evil, all right, in an error which is proceeding. Okay? Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place, man. The Lord has mingled what? A perverse spirit. Folly is set in great dignity. And then when you get Isaiah, the 19th chapter, we can clearly see the decadent behavior starting to manifest itself, man, as the prophecy said it would. Isaiah 19 and 14, the Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and have caused Egypt to err, and every work thereof as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. That's decadent. Decadence, as we read, a condition or period of deterioration or decline, as in morals or art decay. Look at the art in the form of your music, in the form of the clothing. Okay, all of the art is dark. Okay, and what does that do? That leads to what? Decay in the morals of the people as well. Okay, we got to get the hell up out of here. Let's see what else we got here. The American will protect your rights if you're a woman, an immigrant, disabled, alphabet, but not a fetus. And as a former fetuses, you know, who made it, all right, this is wicked, man. This is off of a tweet. It says, conservative. It says the Roe versus Wade leak was intentional because it leaked out that they're in the talks of maybe overturning it. It's not that it happened yet. It's just the talk of it. It says, and the timing was planned. All right. Democrats need all the distractions and money they can get because they're being found out to be wicked. Okay. So now this is a ploy to keep the whole Democrat versus Republican thing alive while they continuously, all right, bring in their NWO, man. But anyway, this is 2 Peter 2, okay, and 5, and spared not the old world because of the flood. This is the type of behavior that led to the flood, what we're seeing now. But save Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. And the Biden administration is doing everything we need them to do to bring forth these prophecies. We can get the hell up out of here. And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So Lot was vexed with the filthy. Let's look up the word filth. Filthy. Because that's all you hear around you is filthy conversation, man. Just yuck. Aseglia. Okay. Negative. Unbridled lust. Excess. Lasciviousness, wantonness, outrageousness, shamelessness, insolence. Let's look up the word insolence. Shamelessness. These people have no shame. And they're crying. The way that they're crying and acting, you're like, what's the big deal? Goodness gracious. Insolence. See why it loads. Give me 1 second. So Lot was vexed as he was amongst those wicked people with their wicked mindsets. Okay, this is taking longer than I thought. So what I'll do here, I'll just look it up this way. If it doesn't come, I can just do this. So now you see why fire is coming to this place. And this is just one of many. As the scriptures say, that their sins have reached to the heavens, man. Okay, I don't know if the computer is just tripping or what, but I'm pretty sure it just means, the decadence, like we were talking about, man. This is that air that proceeded from the ruler, man. Folly is set in great dignity. People are going to march and fight, all right, for their right in the midst of a famine, in the midst of the food shortage, inflation. This is what the people are getting ready to lose their mind over. Okay? They have a insolence perfume. The quality of being rare, uselessness, overbearing, defying behavior, scornful, presumptuous treatment of others, insulting speech or conduct. And that's all you see. And everything is aimed at ultimately coming against righteousness in the Holy Scriptures, man. So we're going to leave that there. It says these people are acting like our economy runs on the blood of infants. Well, a big part of it does. All right. But anyway, Lord willing, y'all will edify. We're going to move on, man. Shalom.